Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Linda. You can also call me Fiona. I am a lifestyle content creator based in Canada. If you are a returning subscriber, hey girl, and thank you so much for coming back. In today's video, I'm starting a new series, and this is super exciting for me and my current viewers, my subscribers, as well as the new people here that are watching. And I hope that you'll find this video helpful, or look through my other videos and consider subscribing to the channel and join the family. This is a simple Q&A catering more to Zimbabweans across the world, just helping answer a few basic questions on life in Canada. Pretty much any question, you guys are welcome to send those on my Instagram through my DM. My Instagram is in my description box, or you can just send me an email. That works too, and I'll be answering a bunch of questions each and every week. So let's get started. The first question from Anonymous is, as a working single mom, is it easy getting childcare? If so, how expensive is it? Okay, so let's break this down into two. I'll answer the first part of the question, and then I'll answer the next one. Okay, so before I answer her Anonymous's questions, I would like to put a disclaimer that I'm not an immigration consultant or an immigration lawyer. I'm not a professional in that aspect. I do not navigate visas or anything of that sort, or immigration documents. I am an immigrant living in Canada, and I'm hoping to answer some basic questions that you might have and that I used to have before I moved to Canada. So now that that's out of the way, as a single mom, is it easy getting childcare? As a single mom, it is not easy getting childcare, and I'll explain. I'm a single mother myself, and I have two daughters aged 10 and 7 at the time that I'm filming this video. It has not been easy for me to get childcare because I do not have family members that live in my city or live in Canada. So that's like a downside. And so, single mom, if you have family, right, as a single mom, if you have family around, that can be an option. But if you don't have family within the country, it's definitely a challenge. And so there are daycares, so it also depends how old your child is. There are daycares for like babies, transitioning into toddlers before they can go to elementary school, because for them to start elementary school there's a specific age. If I remember correctly, my youngest daughter started she had to wait at home until she turned the age of 4, or before she could go to elementary school. And so with that, I will definitely, if I need to clarify anything, I will put some text on the screen, because I try to make these videos as casual as possible. I don't want to come across and look like I'm reading from a textbook. So yeah, she had to wait before she could go to elementary school, and so that made it difficult to work. When you're a working mom as well, I'm looking at other options that you can have. If your child is at the age of attending elementary school, then that's possible. And then if you are lucky, you might find an elementary school that has a before school program, and that's called Excel in my province. So it's like a before school program. I believe it starts at 7 o'clock. My kids, unfortunately, the schools they have attended do not have the Excel program, and so they take the kids in by 7 o'clock, and then you can go to work, and they take care of the kids before the first school bell. And then there is an after school program which my kids are currently enrolled in, and so they pick up the kids from the school when school is over. At the end of school day, they pick up the kids, and then they take care of them for like 3 to 3.5 hours at the after school program. And the kids are engaged in activities. There's all sorts of things that they do there: painting, coloring, games, stories, reading, outdoor playground, and things like that. Also dependent on the weather, because remember, Canada. So yeah, that's been my main source of childcare, which is the after school program, which I was able to enroll in. It's called a Boys and Girls Club, and it's actually not associated with the school, but it is like an organization within the community. And so I can also expand when it comes to wait lists and things like that. You really need to book or sign up in advance. I understand with daycare, if you have a small little newborn or like a baby, you really need to book in your baby or sign up your baby for daycare before the baby is even born when you're pregnant. So that's experiences I've heard from other moms, whether they're single or not. That way you're able to secure a spot for your baby when your baby is born. And then, because the wait lists are so long, and then for me it took about 6 months to a year for me to pick up a spot or finally land a spot for at the after school program for my little kids. I had been communicating with them, I had been asking, and I put them on a wait list, and you know, it eventually happened. But prior to that, I made use of a nanny. You know, you can find a nanny. There are websites that have nannies. Sometimes it's word of mouth. For me, it was word of mouth. That's how I was living in this apartment building. And another single mom actually was open to me sharing her nanny with me. And so when her nanny was off, she would also come to me. Her schedule worked in a way that would work with me, and so that nanny worked briefly with me for like a couple of months, and she helped me with the kids when I was doing like lab days at college, when I was because at that time I wasn't working full-time or working at all, and so during my school hours and my lab hours, she was able to help me out with my kids. And on days when I had like some training programs and things like stuff to do for my career, the nanny really helped. And they are paid per hour, a reasonable amount, but also it depends on how much you're earning as well. I'm looking for other sources of childcare. There are neighbors, you know. I would tread carefully with that, because you just never know how that could turn out. The safety of your child is the biggest priority here in Canada. I've had an experience with that, with child protection services, and so I would really encourage that your child be your biggest priority about when you're looking at these things in regarding safety and who you leave them around. Obviously, as a single mom, sometimes you might have a partner. If you get to a point where you trust your partner to leave your partner with your child so that you switch shifts, and depending if you're doing shift work or whatever hours of the day, that's another option, but it's very far-fetched. I wouldn't really highly recommend that, because it takes time to get to know someone, right? If you can bring in a family member into the country, that works too, as long as they're not occupied within the hours that you need their help. If you can bring in your mother, your dad. Unfortunately for me, I do not have that option because my parents are late. Let's brainstorm. I'm just thinking, because I've really looked at this. Oh, there is like a sports center, or like a gym sporty center, local one where I live. They offer like a day program, or like a couple of hours you can leave your child with them, but you pay a fee. I actually didn't know about this one. I only discovered it recently. So that's another option you can look into. I've been so lucky as well lately. I'm connected with an organization that has a social worker, or rather she's a child counselor / social worker. She offered to actually watch my kids if I ever needed her to watch my kids for like an hour or 30 minutes. I just need to let her know, and I don't need to pay her anything. So it just really depends. You just really need to prepare your mindset in a way that if you're moving to Canada and you're a single mom and you're working, which is great, there will be those challenges regarding childcare. You really need to have a plan A, B, C, E, F, G. Have a plan. Get to know people. Try to build a community. Take your time with that, of course, but regardless, like, you will need somebody. I also have like a neighbor who sometimes just takes my kids. She has a daughter, so my kids just like go with her kids and they play. It's not like a standard can you watch my kids situation, but when my kids go there for a couple of hours, I actually get time off. yeah, and vice versa. So friends, yeah, if you have girlfriends, you know, but you just really need to be careful regarding like community and family in terms of like friends and people who are not necessarily people who raised you or you grew up with. Yeah, but yeah, they are babysitters and slash nannies, and I think I've really exhausted everything. If I've forgotten something, I will create another video just to add that information. Let's get to the second part of this question. Anonymous said, if so, how expensive is it? Okay, so expensive depends on how much you're earning. So maybe I'll rephrase that to the price, like what's the price regarding childcare, because what's expensive for me could be affordable for you, you know what I mean? So maybe let's say the price, right? So with a nanny, and I can say this online because this information is also available on websites. It just depends which nanny you get, but after searching for a while, I found that $18 an hour is how much a nanny charges to like watch the kids, and with that you will need to also make sure you find out about their history, ask for their ID, their ID, for safety purposes, and also make sure to ask for their criminal record. They need to give you a criminal record history, document, just for your safety purposes. But back to pricing, $18 an hour is usually the base. Some people charge slightly lower, some people charge slightly above. So for how many hours you need your child to be taken care of, 18 is usually like somewhat the base amount, and that's based on my research and based on the people that I've interacted with when I was searching for a nanny, and the nanny that actually worked for me. Regarding daycare is quite pricey if your baby is a newborn and transitioning into a toddler. So that is around $800 to slightly over $900 per month. And this is daycares in general. The non-profit organizations charge for daycare around $400, $450, $500, and then I can't really get into detail on what this includes, like this amount, because it's been like about 4 years since I got into like daycare information, but I believe it's just the base fee really. And I remember this clearly, you need to pay that amount with most daycares, whether your child is coming once a week or whether they're coming 5 days a week, you still need to pay that amount. So just to repeat myself, the standard amount for a daycare is $800 to about slightly over $900 per month, and with non-profit organization regarding daycare, that is like $400 to $450 per month. There are discounts. There are organizations and daycares and childcare programs that do offer discounts. Where my children attend at the after-school program, they do offer a specific amount of discount. And I know some places, I remember my friend, her kids were given like a 50% off discount. So it just depends where your kids are going and where you're taking them. Some places offer a grant. You can apply for a grant and they can cover the entire year of expenses for your child's daycare program or childcare program. So it just really depends where you are and what you're working with. Yeah, I'm also trying to think with the after school program. Yeah, so with the after school program, for me right now, with both kids, close to $500 per month. But if you have one child, you're looking at half of that. That is per month. Exactly, that's per month. Is this affordable for a single working mom? I believe it is potentially affordable, because if you're working, you're definitely earning a substantial amount of money that is guaranteed each and every month, right? Because you're employed. And so on top of that, when you have a child and you are on a valid permit in the country, whether you're on a work permit, I believe clearly you would be on a work permit, I believe, as you transition into permanent residency, or whether you have permanent residency. The children are offered, the government pay out a certain amount of money per child, depending on how many kids you have, to the parent, the full-time parent and caregiver of that child, as money to help with the raising, the costs that come with raising a child. And so you do receive that money from the government. It just comes every single month, guaranteed at a specific day each and every month. Would that money cover childcare? Yes, it can, but it also depends on how much childcare you need and where you're at and how much discounts you're getting. The discounts do not affect you receiving money from the government, no. So you do have like that, like a buffer, like that amount that just comes in each and every month from the government to help you support your child and raise them, and that can easily be used for childcare payments. And yeah, like it's possible, it really is, and that money is guaranteed every single month as long as your visa is valid. But if your visa expires, you're cut off and you have to wait until you renew your visa in order for them to pay you. However, you do receive a backlog of your payments. So yeah, I'm just trying to think how expensive, how pricey, anything else I can speak along those lines. The day programs are like $30, $40 a day to watch the kids. There are what are called PD days. So these are like holidays, but the schools are closed, but it's like a public holiday. But you know, it's a day where you can take your child to an after school program or like a daycare program. Those are like $40 a day, or 38, somewhat late. Yeah, like, yeah, $38, $40, $42, $50. You can put your child into a program for a day. But I feel like at the end of this video, I feel like timing is very important. Plan ahead, always have savings, and do your research, really. And to round up this video, timing is important. Planning, do your research, do the best that you can to have family around you. But I know that can be a difficult one, but if you're coming alone with your child or your children, then it is possible. I think at some point I felt like it wasn't possible to find childcare, but it is actually possible. I've been a single mom for 3 years now. Yeah, it's possible. I've been able to do it. So yeah, I hope that is helpful. And this information is truly based on my research, my life experiences here in Canada, and yeah, I'm hoping my goal is to really help and just give you like the basic knowledge, basic details on anything you want to know. But yeah, I think that is everything. I hope that you found this video helpful, anonymous, and pretty much everybody else who might be interested in knowing. Yeah, it is possible to find childcare. It is pricey, but if you're working, it is possible. There will be days where there could be a little bit of glitches with that, and maybe you have to take time off work. It's understandable. The people who will employ you will have a level of understanding, because most of us are parents and we have children and these things happen. And so yeah, I've had to cancel work at some point because of lack of childcare, and I've not been penalized for that. Yeah, we completely understand. So it's possible. So yeah. Hi guys, this is editing Linda in the future. I'm sorry to interrupt your viewing experience. I just wanted to add something in this video which is extremely important. So I live in Canada. My province is Nova Scotia, and so it's different with each and every province. That's what I'm trying to say. Shagato Siana ukaenda ku Ontario, or maybe ukagara ku New PEI, Newfoundland, Labrador. I just can't think of all the provinces right now on the top of my head, but explain with the province that you're in. The system can be a little bit different, and so yeah, you just need to realize the information panapa is based on my own knowledge living in Nova Scotia. It can look a little bit different in another province, and I'll give you a simple example. Nova Scotia, okay, the general term is nurse aid, but in the CCA, continuing care assistant. That's the title of my job. But ukenda ku Ontario, from my understanding, the same job, same position, same everything. Vanon's my personal support workers, and then kumwe vanipo mazita like caregiver. I know there's a hospital here. Vanoti CTA. I just can't remember what that stands for. So it can look different in each and every province. That's what I wanted to just highlight. Kuti, whatever I share here, in Canada, I'm referring to Nova Scotia. There's no going to Siena if you move to like a different province. So I hope that kind of clarifies that part. And in simple terms in English, I'm based in Nova Scotia, and so it can look a little bit different regarding pricing, childcare, and the system in other provinces, even though we're all in Canada. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. You guys can continue watching. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope everybody found it helpful, including the person who asked the question. If you have any other questions about Canada, life in Canada, living in Canada, I am happy to answer. Like, please give me questions in the comment section, further questions. Like, do not hesitate. I have time to create these videos and share as much information as I have, because I have the experience. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it with someone who might need it, somebody interested in moving to Canada. Comment if you can, and please make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of my new videos. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.